Hello, everyone. This is my TPACK case study on magazine publishing, one of the lessons that I found through the resources online. So, for a lot of this analysis, I'm going to be using this article that I found really good. It was from the Site Journal. It was one of the articles provided for class, and it is called "What is Technological Pedagogical Content Knowledge" by Kolner and Mishra. And they break it down into all 6 elements with really good descriptions. And so a lot of the bullet points that I use to analyze this case study, I pulled from that article. It's really, really good. So what is TPACK? TPACK is technological pedagogical content knowledge, and it's broken up into 6 elements that you can see here with overlapping parts. And basically, it's a framework for teacher knowledge for integration for technology integration. It's how teachers can combine their knowledge of the subject, the knowledge of teaching, and the knowledge of technology all together when they craft their lessons. So I got the lesson from University of South Florida, the TIM website, and I searched grades 6 through 8, and I scrolled down until I found this one on magazine publishing. And I found it really interesting because I've always thought about doing some kind of magazine with my students, and there's a lot that goes into it. So I was really fascinated to see what this teacher did and how the students produced a tangible magazine that they could see. And the video is only about 2 minutes long, so it's really short. So I got a lot from it, but I have to infer some things, and some of the criticisms and some of the things later are just based on inferences because I don't have a lot of information. And so you'll see that when I get to the weaknesses part of the lesson later. So the first part of TPACK is content knowledge. And content knowledge is knowledge of the subject matter. And in this video, you can see that the teacher has a lot of knowledge of content. Now, I'm not really sure what that content is. It's either a creative writing class or it's either an English class, and I'm not really too sure. But for a teacher to have put together a project of this magnitude, they have to have a level of content knowledge. Either it's about creative writing and short stories and publishing all together, or it's just about the publishing process and how to put together a really good newspaper or slash magazine. Either way, the teacher has to be really super knowledgeable on how to do all that because they have to guide the teacher, and the teacher is guiding them each step of the way, and so they have to be really knowledgeable, and this teacher really seems like she is. Next is pedagogical knowledge. This is really crucial here because the pedagogy used, the teaching practices, is a far cry from direct instruction. This is totally constructivism. It's straight student-based learning, and it's very collaborative. And the students all have jobs. They know what they're doing with their jobs, and so the teacher has set up the lesson activities in a way where students are engaged and they're also learning about either short stories and publishing at the same time. Pedagogical content knowledge, sorry, let me go back there. Pedagogical content knowledge is all about how to, is the core business of teaching, about how to teach, learn, everything put together. It is adapting and tailoring the instructional materials to the content. So in this case, if the content is learning to make a magazine or learning about short stories, she has adapted that content in a way which is very digestible for the students. So in another lesson, she could have had a lesson based on just short stories, based on the publishing process. But instead, she decided with her pedagogical choices to take that content that she was teaching and make it hands-on, to make it creative, to allow students to invest their time into it. So it really shows a high level of combining both the content part and the pedagogical part into one, where students can do all elements together into one lesson. Next is technology knowledge. This is what I was really impressed about because this classroom has more than just one-to-one capability with the laptops. The teacher has to also be knowledgeable about digital cameras and has to be knowledgeable about scanners and different editing equipment and editing software and publishing software and all that. So each element takes time, it takes training, and the teacher definitely has a fitness, as what the article put it, for using these technologies in the class. That goes to the next step, which is technology content knowledge. That's how to represent the materials, the content with technology. So again, instead of having them just read short stories, if this is an English class, they're taking short stories or they're learning the elements about short stories and incorporating the criteria of good ones into the magazine that they're making. Technology pedagogy is one of the coolest elements of TPACK, in my opinion. It's how to take what you know about technology and to find the best way to use it in the lesson. This is a mark of this is seeing teachers who are not just using Microsoft Word, who are not just using PowerPoint, but this is the know how to use technology for the right scenario, know how to use it in the right lesson, know when to use it, when not to use it, to recognize that this instructional activity could really be benefited from technology use. And this is where I think that the SMAR model really is home in technology pedagogy. SMAR is for another integration model, but I think that's where it really comes into play, knowing what technology is good for what instructional activity.